Today's Chulin Lamites, and we're going to Be'ez Hashem start on the third line of Daf Lamites Amud Aleph. Yeah, and Be'ez Hashem today we're going to go through. We're going to have a machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish in two places where Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish have the machlokes of mechashvim ne'avoida la'avoida. We'll see what that is. That's going to take us to Amud Beis. Amud Beis, we're going to go Be'ez Hashem a brisa that first tells us a tiny kavos to Rabbi Yochanan. And then we're going to introduce a different svara, a different concept of a hoichiach soifei al tchilose, which is that we're going to retroactively try to prove what the machshava of the shochet was. That's going to be the Amud Beis, and then the Gemara is going to talk about the psak, how we pass on the Ma'aseh in our Mishnah, right? But just to remember. Just a refresher from yesterday. We had in our Mishnah for now Gemara. We had a machlokes of three-way machlokes, and the Gemara had two lashonis of what the machlokes is. But the bottom line is that the Tana Kama holds that under normal circumstances, you say that a shochet, when somebody shechts and part of the korban belongs to a goy, the Tana Kama holds it's kosher. And we had two lashonis, either because he holds that by shchitas chulin there's no machshava. We don't care about the machshava of the owner. That he holds zeh mechashev v'zeh oived. Zeh mechashev v'zeh oived b'chutz by shchita. The Tana Kama holds it doesn't work. Or the pshat is that the Tana Kama holds that the truth is that Avada he holds that if we know for sure that the mechashev was mechashev lavei dezara, then it would be a problem. However, b'stama we could assume that it was not. We don't have to assume that he had a machshava of avodah zarah. That was the two lashonis in the Tana Kama. Then we have Rebbe Eliezer Shita. Rebbe Eliezer Shita is clearly both things he holds. He holds he holds that we know that the stam machshavas avodas kechavim is lavodas kechavim. That's first of all. That's very clear. Rebbe Eliezer holds, and second of all, he holds that zeh mechashev v'zeh oived amrinon even b'chutz. That's for sure. Both the shoynis agree in Rebbe Eliezer that what Rebbe Eliezer shita is, and Rabbi Yossi is the one that holds in both the shoynis the same. That we don't say zeh mechashev v'zeh oived. We don't say that the machshava of the owner is going to dictate what happens b'shas the shchita for the shochet, and therefore zeh mechashev v'zeh oived le'amrinan even b'fnim. What's going to be negeh the most for our sugya, even in Amud Beis, is Rabbi Yossi uses a kal v'chomer. So let's get clear. Rabbi Yossi holds that what the halacha is that even b'fnim what's going on in the mind of the owner is irrelevant. We just care about the shochet or the oived, right? That's what he holds. Sai b'fnim, sai b'chutz. It doesn't make a difference, right? But Rabbi Yossi says something, and this is where the Gemara is going to be madgish, and the Gemara is going to bring it in for the machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish that we're bringing up. He says a kal v'chomer. He says he brings a kal v'chomer that ma doch b'fnim zeh mechashev zeh oived le'amrinan kolshkein b'chutz madach in the Beis Hamikdash that we don't that what's going on in the mind of the Bailim is it does not dictate what the kohen what happens with the avodah that the kohen does. So kolshkein b'chutz. Why? How do we know that pnim is more chashuv than chutz? So you would say stam because kachim is more chamer than chulin. But Rabbi Yossi says something, and that lashon is what we're gonna focus on. The lashon of Rabbi Yossi is he says yeah, that kachim is more uchama because machshava peiseles, right? And that we just care about what the kohen thinks. We don't care about what the Bible. Makom she'ein machshavas peiseles b'chulin ain't right? That's the ein din shlei hakol hoylechel lacha sheikit. So Rabbi Yossi compares the two. He says by mukdashim, it's what machshava peiseles, and by oivet a machshava peisalos. That contrast the Gemara is going to focus on and try to see which machshava we're talking about that works by kachim and doesn't work by chulin. That's what we're going to bring in. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, just one more thing I want to point out. If you remember, at the end of yesterday we discussed. To Rabbi Yosef Engel's kasha, we discussed right the famous kasha that what's the halacha by what's the halacha if you why can't the soita always be mechashiv? She'll be mechashiv. If you hold that bailam mefaglin, so let every soita be mefagel her mincha, and then she has a easy fix of getting out of the whole thing because the mincha is going to be a psula. Yeah. So what we said that if you hold that pigel is it's not just a fantasy, it's not just a thought, it is a plan, meaning it's something that I am intending to do, and memela has to be something that I could do, but I can't just fantasize. Even if you hold bailam mefaglim, it has to be on something I could do. Yeah, so it has to be something I could do. But if she has no ability to do anything with this mincha, because the mincha doesn't go to her. A mincha all goes to the kohen, it goes on the mizbeach. Nothing goes to the isha. So memela, she has no power to have any plan. So she could think from today to tomorrow, but it's only a fantasy. So there is a dik in Rashi. If you're medayik in this Rashi says. Im cheshvu, when Rashi is talking about Shabbat and Mafaglim, Rashi says, here I'll give you the cursor also, here it goes, Im cheshvu, Zok Rashi, Im cheshvu al shchitas koyin, oy al zrikosoi, al manas lechol chutz lazmani have a pigol. He davke chaps on the lechol. Why is he talking about the lechol? Why is he talking about the lechol and not the Torah? What? Oh, because pigel is always b'shas, one of the dalei avodas on an achila of either achilas bailam or achilas mizbeach, right? So, but Rashi's medayik, right? Rashi's medayik that it's dafka if his machshava was that I will eat chutz l'zman, because that's biyadi. I could do something.
What's the sound out like that?
What do you say?
What's the sound out like that?
The tzad not like that is that this is a time when to think, and this is a person that could think, but it's not a plan; it's a fantasy. I'm going to think that I'm going to do. I'm going to think that it's going to happen. Not that I'm planning on doing it.
I can't do it.
Even though I can't do it.
How would Rashi say it any other way?
I'm an ass. No, and I'm an ass lachter.
I'm an ass?
Lachter. Lachter. That b'shas the shchita, the bailam thinks that the haktar is going to happen tomorrow. Not that he's going to do it. The haktar is going to happen. He just fantasized, right? Not that he's planning on doing it. That this is his plan. This is his intention, right? And here's shlav, another shlav. Okay, we'll get to this in a second. Maybe I'll bring it. I wasn't planning on bringing it in now, but I'll bring it in now. When somebody thinks al menas, does that mean that the pshat is it's just the time that he's thinking I'm shechting now and we're going to do that later? Or that means that this shechita should bring to that. In other words, that I want that this shechita should be a preparation for that zrika. And something's happening now in the shechita for the zrika. Or it's just, this is a time when I'm thinking, it's just a time slot, insert here, but I'm thinking about the zrika. Or maybe no, maybe it has something to do with it's the almanas. Okay, that's we'll get to that in a second. Okay, Sokti Gemara Vayta. Okay, but enough. Yep, that was yesterday. Now we're going to get to the Machlokes Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish. Machlokes Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish, and we'll try to do it as masud as possible. So again, we're going to have two Machlokes Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish, which are very, very similar. Try to be as masud as possible. That the Machlokes Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish is going to be two Machlokes that are almost identical, right? And we know, right, let's remember, what is the basic pigel? What's the basic pigel? The basic pigel is, like we just discussed, the basic pigel is that during one of the four avodas, meaning during the shchita, Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika, he thinks that something else is going to happen. So that's avoida la avoida. I'm thinking during one thing that something else is going to happen. That it's going to be an achila. That it's going to be aktara. Something's going to happen. Chutz lizmane is going to be. That is what pigel is, right? That's the definition of pigel, right? Mashein kain a machshava shaloi lishma, or a machshava of avodah zarah. What's its basic case? What's the standard case? Is that I'm thinking about that right now. This shchita is la'avodah zarah, or I'm thinking that this shchita of achatos is a shlamim. Right? That's normally right. So I'm not thinking from one thing on another. I'm thinking on this thing a thing. So now the question is, could we mix and match? We're gonna have a machlokes say legabe avodah zarah. About avodah zarah, do we learn that from pigel? And then we're gonna have a machlokes legabe shlei lishma. Do we learn that from pigel? So one machlokes is a machlokes in chutz in avodah zarah, which has nothing to do with kachim, and then we're gonna have another machlokes legabe pnim legabe shlei lishma. Yeah, that's gonna be the two machlokes. Zok the Gemara. Itmar. Hashoichet is abehema lizroik dama lavoidas koichavim ulakte chelba lavoidas koichavim. So they did the shchita, and during the shchita, the intention was the shchita itself is going to be fine. The shchita, he doesn't have any intention with the shchita to service his getch, but his plan is that when it comes to the zrika, then he's going to really, then he's going to be servicing his getch, right? So zok the Gemara is a machlokes Rabbi Yechon Shlokish. Rabbi Yechon Amar Psula for Shlokish Amar Muteres. Rabbi Yechon Amar Psula, because why? Because mechashvim me'avoida la'avoida v'alfinan chutz mipnim. You could be mechashev from one avoida to another avoida, and yalfina chutz mipnim that we find by where it's pnim by pigel that I'm mechashev during one of the avoidas the shchita halacha kabbalah zrika on haktara zrika. You have to have a machshava during this avoida for this avoida, but having a machshava during a shchita for a zrika is irrelevant. Yeah, v'ozul tamayu, and this is the same exact machlokes that we have with gabi pneim. De'et mar shachta lishma. Let's say I had a machshava by lishma, and again, the standard lishma is not a machshava on one thing on another thing. Forget the standard machshava lishma is what I do a shchita of a chatos and I'm mechashev for shlamim, but not that I'm planning on doing during one avoida another avoida, right?
Washington pickup park 2, please. Washington pickup park 2.
Rishlokish Amar Psheira. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Pesula Mechashe me'avoida le'avoida v'gamrina me'machshavas pegol. Just like my machshavas pegol is from one avoida to another avoida, so who adin by Shlei Lishma as well, that the psul of Shlei Lishma, even though the Ikka Avoida, the Ikka psul is happening by when I'm mechashev during a shchita on the shchita itself. But who I did, I can learn out from Pigel that what mechashev me avoida also that. What's it? Right. So in the first machlokes was the shaila was if you mechashvim chutz lepnim, it could avoid the zara learn up from kachim. And now we're talking about in kachim itself. We have a shaila. Could you learn up from does avoid could shlei lishma learn up from pigol? Reb Shimon lakasham aksheira ei mechashvim avoid lavoid legamina machshav es pigol. Zok the Gemara. Let's just finish up the tzrichas and then we're going to talk about alumdus here for a second. Utzricha. Today, and we had to say both machlokes. They had to argue. We had to say clearly that the machlokes of Rabbi Yechon and Shlokish is by both cases. Why? Because there's two extremes here. In other words, that if we would, If we would only have one machlokes, if we would only have the machlokes of avodah zarah, we would think that everyone's masking that by pnim, Yafinon mimachshavas pigel, and if we'd only have the machlekes by pigel, then we would think that even Rabbi Yochanan is masking to Rish Lakish that what that leyafinon chutz mipnim. So in order to teach us that they argue min akatza lakatza on both extremes, that Rabbi Yochanan holds that even by avodah zara yafinon chutz mipnim mchash me'avodah lavodah, and Rish Lakish holds the other extreme that even bifnim by shlei lishma mchash me'avodah lavodah. So therefore, we have to say both machlekes, and that's what the Gemara is to say. Utzricha ma bahar, meaning the first case that we started, which is avodah zara. Over there, we understand. Rav Shimon Lakish says that is no mechash me'avodah lavodah mishum dechutz mipnim li'afinon avo pnim mipnim. But I would think by the other machlekes by pnim mipnim by shalei lishma ema moed Rabbi Yochanan. I would think he's moeda ma'bahach. But and if it only said the Gemara over there of shalei lishma mechash me'avodah lavodah v'it ma'bahach ba'hika amar Rabbi Yochanan avo ema moed Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to read always one thing that and this is a shmuz that and all the rayas and the zachen we don't really have time to discuss. But I just want to put up a flare and point out that the Achronim are very very busy trying to understand. If you hold mechash v'me'avodah lavodah, right? Like Rabbi Yochanan mechash v'me'avodah lavodah. Okay, so I could be mechashiv. Let's say during the zrika during the shchita on a zrika, right? So mechash me'avodah lavodah. So why? So it works. So I passled. What happened? What became nifsal? Is the pshat that now we say that the shchita was done shalei lishma or no? Or do we say that the zrika was done shalei lishma? Is the pshat that I can have a machshava during the shchita, even though it's during the zrika, so it's called a shchita shalei lishma? Or the vart is that shchita is a time when I can be machashiv on the zrika, and it comes out that the zrika was shalei lishma. Yeah, it's a murdiga. It's a alam the shashayla when
you make the shchita into shalei lishma
if it didn't happen. And how can I make the zrika?
I mean, it makes it like it didn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's shalei lishma. Shalei lishma was bepsul. Yeah. Yeah, so Shiloh is which one has it worked? Yeah, that's the Shiloh. That is the Shiloh, and it's really going to be totally a lot in. It's going to be totally a lot in the Gemara and Tosfos Amud Beis legabe what's the halacha of azrika shalei lishma azrika lavidus kechavim? Yeah, if you hold like Tosfos. Not like Rashi, that is Zrika by Avedis Kechavim doesn't work, right? So what's going to help? And so you can't hold a Mechash Me'Avod Lavoid that says that the second one is Avodah Zarah because I don't care. Even the Zrika itself of Machshava by B'shas the Zrika itself doesn't passel. So how could the Machshava during a Shechita with the Machshava of a Zrika be worse than a Machshava during the Zrika itself? Yeah. There's gonna be a machlekes Rashi takes. We'll see that. I don't want to mix you up, but I'm just right during a machshava during the zrika. Does it passel the carbon or not? Yeah, it's gonna be a machlekes Rashi takes. Rashi says it passels the whole carbon. Tosfos says it doesn't. Right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.